Welcome back to the show again, folks. I'm trying to get some lighting lined out here. Earl! Welcome back again, folks. Earl's here, obviously. I got him tied to a chair over there right now. He can't behave himself too good. He got a lot of fire in his belly for an old guy. So we're going to talk to you today about what to look for when you purchase a new acoustic guitar, or maybe it's a used acoustic guitar. It's new to you. What do you look for when you go out and you're going to spend some big bucks, especially? But this is even on cheaper guitars too, like the second-hand, like Epiphones, Sigmas. What else? Cheaper guitars that bigger companies make. This fits those. So any kind of guitar. It fits any kind of guitar. Depending on the amount of money that you want to spend, I'm going to show you a few things to look for and watch out for. Okay? Obviously, you want to look at the finish on the guitar when you go look at it. I doubt that you can ever see this, but this guitar has real tiny little cracks all over the finish, all over it. I mean, it's just shattered. It's like a piece of glass that is just shattered. You can't see them unless you get it just a certain way in the exact light and you're looking at it at the right angle. That's the only way you can see those little cracks. If I got the right guitar, yeah. I don't see, yeah, I do see them a little bit right in here, running up, all up through here. It's on both sides. There's a lot of them. But I don't think you're going to be able to see those. You might be able to. Anyways, check the finish out. That's one thing. If you care about what it looks like, you want to check the finish out. Look at it very closely. Front, back, sides. Look at the back of the neck, the front of it. Another good thing to do is go all around all of the binding. Okay? And look at it very, very closely everywhere, especially if it's a used instrument. And especially if it's an old one. And look at the binding on the back here too. Go all the way around that. Inspect it visually very, very close, because you're looking for any cracks or separation. If it has a binded neck, look at that. Look up and down the neck, and look at the frets. Look at the fretboard. Sometimes some guitars will have really hard fret wire. And the frets doesn't wear out as fast or as bad as the fretboard does. You've seen fretboards with war marks in them where the fingers have been on there crunching for so long for whatever reason. Check that out. That's not going to hurt it. It's an easy fix too. But just some things you want to look at. Look, if it doesn't have a bound neck, sometimes if they're binded you can still do this. Look at the ends of every fret. Just look at them, see if you see any that might be popped up a little bit. If you do, kind of shove it down there and look. I showed you all this before on different videos. Take you a piece of paper under string tension and see if that piece of paper will go under the bridge, all around the back of it. Check it everywhere. You can tell if the bridge is starting to pull up that way. You old subscribers know that trick. Same with the heel back here where the neck meets the body. Inspect that for any separation. There should be no separation whatsoever there. Had people tell me before, well, you should be able to get a piece of paper in. There's a little crack. No, you should not be able to get a piece of paper in there. And you can see I cannot. You want to check the keys. Check all 6 of them. If it's tuned up perfectly in tune, who gives a shit? Turn those keys, man. Check them all for slack. I'm not talking about slack in the peg up here. I'm talking about slack in the gears. If you turn a little bit, nothing happens. Look at the nut, because especially if it's an old instrument, all those years of strings being dragged through that nut wears it. And it'll cut deeper grooves into the nut. That's exactly what happened to this nut right here. The strings are setting down in there a little bit farther than they should, if you can see that. It didn't used to be like that. I know because I made this nut. Let me show you. I made that nut, and I also made this one right here. This one's not wore out as bad. I think you can see how the strings actually set up out of the slots. You want about half of the diameter of the string to stick up out of the slot, okay? I'll give you a little bit better sound that way. Now, something else we were talking about too were the down pressure on your saddle and on your nut to make better sound, better tone, carry vibrations into the top better. Look at the saddle. That's the first thing I look at when someone reaches me a guitar, especially if I'm going to buy it or work on it. You like to see a very high saddle. You can see this one's not very high at all. That one's not very high over there either. I'll show you in a minute. The higher saddle you have, chances are the happier you're going to be in the long run, okay? Now, I've showed you all this. Take a straight edge, run it down a straight neck. That straight edge should slide right up over the bridge, just like that. See, I just got it laid on the neck here, holding this end up here down, flat against the neck. Check that. If you have a straight edge, take it with you and check this. Now, occasionally you'll run onto a guitar that you can slide this back, and it won't. The straight edge won't even touch the bridge. Just slides right over top of it. That is ideal, because when that happens, then you're probably going to have a really tall saddle on there, and by having a really tall saddle, that's going to create that down pressure we talked about in the other video. It's going to sound better. It's going to sound as good as it can. So pay a lot of attention to the saddle. If the saddle's down like that, it doesn't mean it needs a neck reset, but you know, it could play for many years like that. Maybe it's been that way for 40 years, you know, and it maybe could last another 40. You just don't know. But keep in mind, bear in mind, when you see guitars with a tiny, short saddle that's not sticking up very high, you know, you may want to do a little further investigation, because that guitar could possibly be reaching a stage in its life that it's going to require the neck to be reset on it at the proper angle. Now, by resetting the neck, talking about we take the neck completely off and work the dovetail, usually is what they have back here, in a way to set that neck back and keep your guitar body straight up and down. And we want the neck up here to tilt back that way farther, okay? Back like that. That pulls the strings down, and it requires you to use a higher saddle to get the strings back up in the action. You can still have really low action and have a really high saddle. That's ideal. That's the ideal setup. You don't see very many guitars that are set up or can be set up that way, because they move, and you know, they belly up. Acoustic guitars all do it. They belly up over time, and the bridge pulls up on them, or you know, whatever, and eventually they almost always need a neck reset sometime during their life. Not every guitar, but a lot of them. Check the screws and the keys, you know, for tightness. Now I'm talking about slack in the whole entire key. Just, you know, see if they feel tight. And like I said, work every key and make sure there's no play, or very little, if any. There shouldn't be any play whatsoever in there. If there is, that key's probably getting ready to malfunction. What else? Oh yeah. Oh well, I should have showed you when I had that one. Unless you take a mirror, I always take a thing like this. This piece of shit from Stumac. You all guys know how much I love that, but it serves a purpose if you can get it to work. Take a mirror if you can. Look inside and just visually inspect all of the braces, okay? The ones all over the top and the ones all over the back. If you don't have a mirror or a light and you can't do that, hold the strings between the 7th and 12th fret where they will not get harmonics. Take your middle finger and tap the guitar. times out of 10, if you have a loose brace, I showed you all this before. 9 times out of 10, if you have a loose brace, you'll hear it. You'll hear it rattle. Same thing on the back. Tap all over the back of it. And don't be afraid to punch it pretty good. You know, I mean, don't run your fist through it or anything like that. But tap that guitar pretty good. You get some ugly looks in music stores when you're holding a $5,000 guitar and beating the shit out of it. But hey, if you're going to spend the money, you want to make sure the braces is all as sure as you can on the spot. Unless they'll let you take it home and check it out. Most music stores don't do that. I don't like that very much. Of course, play it. Feel the neck, how the neck feels in your hand. There's all different profiles of necks, how they're shaped and made, the width of them. Feel all of that. Make sure you like that. And don't listen to what the guy behind the music store counter tells you. Go by what you feel. If it feels comfortable in your hand and the action's nice and you can play it, everything, you like the sound of it, if it vibrates again your belly, it's probably a good guitar. It's probably just what you're looking for. But don't forget to check all that stuff. I even look at the pickguard on older instruments. A lot of times they will pull up, and I've even seen them cause the top to crack. Pay close attention to the pickguard area, you know, and the pickguard. Look at it. Make sure it's not pulling up or pulling off or coming off anywhere. You know, just look at everything that you can possibly think of. Look down the neck. Hold the guitar up like so. And look down the neck. And if you look flat down that neck, the very fretboard extension right here should appear to be the same height as the top of your bridge. Okay? If you can look down the neck at that angle, and the bridge is sticking up higher than the plane of the fretboard, you should take a straight edge and read it, look at it like I showed you. Slide it back to the bridge and look at them. See if the plane of the fretboard matches the plane of the bridge. If it doesn't, you don't want to spend the money on that guitar. I'm telling you, unless you want to spend more money on it to fix the, to reset the neck. So that's a few things. If anyone can think of anything else, put in the comments below. I know I always leave stuff out and forget stuff. I do it every time, so I'm going to do it this time. But that's a few basic things that are very important things to look at when you're purchasing. It doesn't matter if it's a new guitar, a new acoustic, brand new. They have flaws in very expensive ones. Or if it's a cheaper one, or a second grade like I mentioned earlier. You know, it depends on how much money you're spending, I guess, is a big factor in it. You know, if you're spending $1,000, a little bit of fret wear is not that bad. That's another thing. Check your frets. Look at the frets. Look under the strings where the guitars are usually played most, up here. And look for dents in your frets. Look all the way down the neck. You know, it doesn't take just a minute to go down that neck and visually inspect every fret. You're looking for dents or string wear or any damage done to a fret. And that's all I can think of, guys, right offhand. If you can think of anything else, like I say, put it in the comments below for the world to read and see. And it will help many people. Q Ball's with us. She just now arrived. How you doing, Q? Good girl. You're awful quiet. Yeah. So there you are. I hope that helps you on your journey for looking for a new acoustic guitar, or at least one new to you. Like I say, it can be a used one or a very old one and still be new to you. So just keep your eyes open for that. For those things, and you should be okay. Tell them they'll be okay, and tell them I love you. I love you. I'll see you on the next video, folks. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I love you. Oh! What? Easy. Say, I love you. You got a hair in your mouth? There you go. Now, I love you. I've never heard her talk like that. I love you. Good. What is it? I love you.